Yep, got an MRI.
On. Follow us back. See ya.
Yeah, I've been here a few times. Bluegrass Orthopedics. Now they get to deal with my shoulder. And I get to deal with my shoulder. Woohoo! Good times. Yeah, I'm out at Jacobson Park in early August 2022, and I'm going to call this a Pappy's backpacking pro tip. Don't freak out on the trail or anywhere. If you've gotten to this point, you saw at the beginning I was having an MRI. And I was talking about an orthopedic doctor that I've been to before, Bluegrass Orthopedics. Well, there's a story behind all this and how I've come to the conclusion of not freaking out, even though a lot of people told me they would have too. It's been an interesting year all around, and I don't know how much context I want to give because I'm going to make this video long as it is, and oh well. You're used to that by now. But early July, me and Granny had COVID, and for the last week or two I've been starting to feel a little bit more strength, feeling like getting out and doing stuff. And so me and Sapphire went out to the Heisel farm last Friday at the end of July and did a little hike out there, not very strenuous, but maybe a couple miles, and that felt so good. And then I planned, and she just decided to go with me because she loves going on a hike. We went to a place in the Red River Gorge called Raven Rock and had a great hike. I could tell you more about Raven Rock, but it's not necessarily pertinent to the story, even though this is Raven Rock's on private land, so I had to pay the landowner $5 to park in this little parking lot where there's a trail to go up to Raven Rock, which is well paved and blah blah blah. Used to be a road that went up there, and now it's all broken kind of asphalt and just regular trail along the Red River. Just wonderful. But I parked in this little parking lot, and the best part of the story of all that was the end of the hike when me and Sapphire were getting back to the car after, like I said, a wonderful hike. We I had the car door, passenger side door open on my car, and I was getting some water out for her and a little towel to wipe her feet off and get her cleaned up because the trail was pretty muddy and wet and yucky, and so I had to take care of that kind of business. And also I was getting my shoes off to put my Crocs on to drive home because they were kind of nasty and blah 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 and DDD. And so we're at the car in this well-groomed lot. It's not like I'm out in the middle of nowhere parking, but I'm parked on grass, and I'm noticing a couple painful stings on my legs and hands. And I'm looking down, and I'm near the car. I'm looking down, and there's some yellow jackets on me, and I start backing out of there because that's what Pappy does. I don't like bugs anyway, but I'm starting to freak out because they're on me, and I know what yellow jackets can do. And I'm kind of looking at Sapphire too as I'm backing up and trying to kind of get her away as well because they're attacking her, and I can see her. This is all happening in split seconds. So who knows if this is all legit as to exactly what happened, but I'm seeing it's, Sapphire's getting worked on too, and I'm backing out of there really, really hard and really fast backward. Well, that should give you a little bit of a clue as to what's coming up. As I'm moving fast backward, I'm 61 years old. That ain't going to happen very easily anymore going forward. But going backward, it just didn't work. And I as I was moving backward, I don't know if I dove into my shoulder. I did a somersault, a backwards somersault on my left shoulder and kind of rolled over. And I'm almost positive I kept moving because I still felt the Yellow Jackets stinging me, and I could still see Sapphire having to deal with that and trying to yell at her to, let's get out of there. So we ran over to where Pat was kind of sitting, because he is, that's a whole nother little story in and of itself, but he's the guy that kind of owns the property there, and he probably watched a little bit of these shenanigans, even though I think a tree was blocking a lot of it. But I got over there, and I could tell that I was feeling a little rough, but not much. Adrenaline's still running through me, and I'm still trying to make sure that there's no Yellow Jackets on me. And this old country boy Pat goes down and reaches onto Sapphire and pulls a Yellow Jacket off of her like it's no big deal. He actually showed me on his legs that he had a couple stings here recently, and it's something that he deals with. Anyway, as he's kind of checking me out, making sure everything's good, he volunteers to go over and look the car over and make sure there's no Yellow Jackets in the car, because the passenger side door is open. And he goes over there and just kind of looks things over really well and kind of puts my mind at ease, and I'm glad for it. Thank you, Pat, for doing that. And so as I'm over there with him, I'm still feeling my shoulder and kind of going, what's the deal here? But I'm ready to get in the car and get out of there. He gives me the old clear and thumbs up kind of thing, and I get in with Sapphire, and we drive a little bit down this gravel road, and I just kind of pull over, and I can't get my arm up any more than maybe like that. Now, I can kind of work my arm up, or even lift it with my right arm to get it up above my head, but the range of motion is basically in here, and I can feel pretty good pain in there. Something's definitely wrong. Get an x-ray on Sunday, no broken bones. But they wanted to refer me to an orthopedic surgeon, all this kind of stuff, but I go to my guy on Monday, and he does a little test, kind of holds my arm up and asks me to see if I can hold it still without dropping it. It's a little higher than this. I'm just not really simulating it very well. And it drops. And he says, it looks like a massive cuff tear in your shoulder. Woohoo! Oh, I tore my ACL, left knee, 3 times. Had it repaired twice by Bluegrass Orthopedics, and right now I'm living with the tear. But I'm not going to live with a shoulder tear, and so had an MRI today. That's what that was all about, and we're kind of looking at the next steps as to what that's all going to be. Pappy's backpacking pro tip at 8 minutes into this video. It should be obvious to everybody right now. Just don't freak out on the trail. It is kind of a regular occurrence with me. If you've seen one of my last Pappy's backpacking pro tips, you can see just a brief moment when I kind of freaked out with a spider getting in my face on the trail, or something landing on my hand. And then today it was just weird. I was just going out to the car, and something landed on me, a little bug or something. I just kind of shook it with my arm and kind of not re-injured my shoulder, but hurt it. It's like, damn, what is wrong with you? Why these incredible reactions? I think it's an overreaction, only because of what it happened to me and landing on my shoulder and hurting me. If I would have just kept my wits about me and just kind of dealt with the situation at hand there, even though it was a big surprise having Yellow Jackets on me, and I really don't know where they came from. Sapphire has kind of stirred them up before in the past. A couple years ago, we had an incident going out to the Outer Banks in Richmond, Virginia. That's another story in of itself. And she stirred some Yellow Jackets up, but they got on her, and they didn't necessarily get on me at that time, but that kind of freaked me out, seeing them covering her. So there's your pro tip, man. You're out in the wilderness. You don't want to injure yourself any worse than, you just don't want to injure yourself out there, especially if you're a couple miles away from any kind of civilization, for sure. With the shoulder, I can get out of this situation. I can walk, and I'm out here, and I can probably even do a little hike around the park. But no, not going to do that. Just doing the video today just to give you the Pappy's backpacking pro tip. Keep your mind at ease as best you can, and I'm just having to do a little introspection this week as to kind of how I'm going to work on that and do better in those areas. I know my Heavenly Father can help me in this, and I think He says something about being anxious, but don't be anxious about anything, but in everything, but with prayer and supplication, make your requests known to God. And I think that's just kind of an ongoing thing that's going to have to be for me, because that's a sudden anxiousness that I feel where I'm kind of reacting, and I just got to continue to ask the Lord. There may be some situations in this day that I'm going to get anxious in, and they may build up slowly, and I can deal with those, but these kind of spontaneous fluke kind of things I need help with. I need to trust in my Heavenly Father that He's going to help me in those situations so I don't hurt myself. I don't want to go through this again. Another Pappy's backpacking pro tip. Yellow jackets are the devil. They are. Man, they're tough. They're mean. Anyway, there you go. Love y'all. Bye.